The night deepens, and in that quiet moment, a weary mind begins to soften. The heavy thoughts of the day gently slow down. Your worries start to fade into the soft dark. Imagine a damp, quiet room in Paris. The year is 1903. A warm gas lamp glows on a small wooden desk. Outside, soft rain falls against the glass. The drops tap a slow, peaceful rhythm. Inside, a man sits completely still. His name is Rainer Maria Rilke. He listens to the rain. He holds a pen. The room holds a deep, heavy peace. Nothing rushes him. Nothing demands his attention. He dips his pen into dark ink. He is writing a letter to a young man he has never met. This boy is a 19-year-old soldier in a strict school. Rainer Maria Rilke writes slowly. He lets each word breathe. The quiet of the room flows right into the paper. It is a quiet meant to travel far. It is a quiet meant to heal. Think of how different our nights feel now. We lie in bed with glowing screens shining in our eyes. Our hearts race at midnight. We loop through endless worries about tomorrow. We carry a loud noise inside us all the time. The world feels too fast. It asks for too much. We forget how to just rest. We forget how to let the dark be our friend. But that quiet letter from Paris still exists. It is like a soft rope thrown across a whole century. It reaches out to pull us from the rushing water. The words on that old paper do not yell. They do not tell us to work harder. They just offer a calm space. They invite our tired minds to finally stop running. They ask us to sit by the soft light of that old lamp. Days later, that letter arrived at a cold, grey building. This was the Theresian Military Academy. A young cadet named Franz Xaver Kappus held the envelope. He was a young poet who felt lost. He wanted to know if his poems were good. He wanted advice on his career. He carefully broke the red wax seal. He pulled out the folded paper. He expected a teacher to give him strict rules. Instead, he read something entirely different. The young poet looked at the careful handwriting. The words did not judge him. They did not grade his work. They simply asked him to look inside his own heart. The letter told him to find the quietest corner of his feelings. It was not a list of tasks. It was a gentle opening of a door. Those words instantly calmed the young man. His tense shoulders dropped. The heavy weight of school and expectations melted away. He did not have to prove anything to this famous writer. He just had to be himself. The letter gave him total permission to simply exist. It was perfectly fine to be unsure. It was perfectly fine to just breathe. This gentle acceptance changed everything for him. The harsh walls of the military school faded for a moment. A deep, soothing peace washed over his tired mind. He realized he did not need to rush his life. He did not need to force his future. The panic of not knowing what to do was gone. In its place, a soft comfort remained. That single piece of mail became part of something much bigger. It grew into a famous book called Letters to a Young Poet. This book, along with his beautiful poems in the Book of Hours, forms a soothing philosophy. Rainer Maria Rilke did not just write pretty lines. He wrote a guide for finding peace. He created a map for surviving the loud noise of life. His philosophical ideas are very simple. They are built for anyone who feels tired or pushed around. His words act as a shield against the rush of the world. They teach us how to protect our inner calm. When the days get too loud, his thoughts offer a safe place to hide. They remind us that true strength comes from being gentle. Here is the core of his gentle system. Stillness is not just doing nothing. It is a highly active state for your mind. When you stop moving, your soul starts to work. Quiet moments are the only place where true internal growth happens. A seed needs the dark, quiet earth to grow. Our minds need dark, quiet hours to heal. You cannot force a flower to open by pulling on its petals. You just give it time and space. Rilke believed human feelings work exactly the same way. We must give our sadness and joy the room to unfold. We do this by sitting in stillness. We do this by watching our thoughts without trying to fix them. This quiet watching is the deepest kind of rest. But avoiding this quiet has a heavy cost. We feel a deep tiredness in our minds when we constantly run from ourselves. Think of the young cadet Capus in 1903. He was surrounded by loud drills and shouting officers. He felt empty inside. When we fill every silent moment with noise or distraction, we feel that same hollow ache. We get so tired because we are always running away from our own minds. It is a very sad kind of tiredness. We watch another show. We read another news story. We do anything to avoid facing our own thoughts. But the running never brings peace. It only brings more worry. The heart begs for a break. The mind begs for a pause. We just need to stop moving. We just need to let the silence catch up to us. This deep need for quiet was born in the European landscapes that shaped him. Long before Paris, Rilke grew up in Prague in the late 1800s. Imagine the misty, Gothic towers of that old city. Thick fog rolled over the stone bridges. The air was heavy and damp. It was a beautiful but lonely place for a quiet child. Later, his mind would be blown open by the vast, wind-swept plains of rural Russia. He saw endless horizons of green and gold. He felt the huge open sky pressing down gently on the earth. These places taught him how to look at the world. They showed him the power of huge, silent spaces. They set the stage for his lifelong journey into solitude. But his early life in Prague was deeply uncomfortable. He was a highly sensitive boy. He noticed every shadow and heard every soft sound. He just wanted to read and dream, but his parents completely misunderstood his nature. They wanted him to be tough. They wanted him to be a soldier, so they forced him into a strict, brutal military academy. The young, gentle boy was locked inside cold stone walls. He wore a stiff uniform. He had to march and shout. The rules were harsh and unforgiving. Every day was a battle against his own soft heart. He had to hide his true self just to survive the loud, angry days. The harsh rules of the military school left a deep mark. He grew to hate being told what to do. He hated the strict orders of the guards. This early pain changed him forever. It made him want to run away from anything that felt like a cage. He could not stand rules that locked up his mind. He developed a deep need to be alone. He craved quiet places where no one could shout at him. This was not just a passing wish. It became a lifelong hunt for peace. He needed to look inside himself without fear. He wanted to build a safe room in his own mind. He knew true calm had to come from within. The young man knew he had to leave Prague. The old city felt too small. It was too full of bad memories. So he packed his few things into a bag. He stepped out into the wide, unknown world. He wanted to find a place where he could just watch the world and breathe easily. He was looking for a new home for his quiet soul. He left his family far behind him. He travelled across Europe, looking for a place that felt right. He wanted a life built only on looking closely at simple things. He traded the tight stone walls of his youth for the open dirt roads of the world. He was finally walking his own path. The heavy weight of his past started to lift off his shoulders. In the spring of 1899, a brand new world opened up for him. He travelled to Russia with a close friend named Lou Andreas Salome. They rode slow trains for many days. The land outside the window never seemed to end. It was a vast sea of flat, sweeping green plains. The earth looked like a giant soft blanket spreading to the edge of the sky. The long journey felt like a slow, peaceful dream. Huge fields stretched out as far as his eyes could see. The sky hung heavy and soft over the dark earth. Deep, rich church bells rang out across the open grass. The gentle sound washed over him like a warm wave. There were no loud shouts here. There were only the quiet whispers of the wind. This giant land cracked his heart wide open. He felt a deep, shocking sense of wonder. He was just a tiny man standing in a huge, quiet world. But he did not feel scared at all. He felt completely safe. The earth was so big, and it did not ask him for a single thing. It just let him stand there and watch the clouds move. For the first time, nobody wanted him to march in a line. Nobody told him to be brave or strong. The massive Russian sky just let him exist in peace. It was a deep comfort to feel so small under the stars. He realized the world was huge and indifferent, but also deeply kind. This warm peace sank deep into his tired bones. He finally felt at home. This huge, quiet space gave birth to a special set of poems. He called it the Book of Hours. The wide Russian lands filled every single page of this work. But it was not a normal book about strict religion. It did not have hard rules. It did not have angry lessons about being good. It was just a soft voice talking in the quiet night. Instead, the Book of Hours was like a quiet talk in the dark. He wrote to a vast, unseen friend. He did not picture a king sitting on a bright throne. He pictured a deep, comforting shadow. He wrote about a safe, dark space that holds everything together. He saw the dark as a warm hug, not something to be afraid of. It was a place to rest. He wrote these words in a very special way. He pretended to be an old Russian monk. He imagined sitting alone in a quiet, bare, stone room. He let the words flow out in short, steady beats. His daily writing felt just like daily prayers. He did not rush the words. He let them fall onto the paper like slow, gentle drops of rain. He would sit and write a little bit every single day. The rhythm of his written words was slow and very calming. The repeating sounds felt like a gentle rocking chair. He used this daily writing habit to calm his own racing mind. It was a soft, simple act that brought him back to center. The act of writing became his safe place. This slow writing taught him a huge lesson. He learned that patience is not something you are just born with. It is not a magic gift from the sky. Patience is exactly like a muscle in your arm. You have to use it every single day, or it gets very weak. You have to choose to be patient even when it feels hard to do. He found that peace comes from choosing to slow down. You have to practice waiting for things. You have to practice sitting still when your body wants to run away. By writing his quiet poems, he trained his mind to rest. He built his own inner calm, one slow word at a time. He showed that peace is something you build with your own hands, but this quiet dream could not last forever. The soft green plains of Russia slowly faded away. He had to make a living in the real, busy world. So he packed his bags once again. He travelled west, leaving the slow, open spaces far behind him. He was heading straight into a loud storm. His hard-won peace was about to be tested in a harsh way. He moved from the rural quiet into a giant, roaring city. It was the dawn of the 20th century. The whole world was speeding up. Machines were getting bigger and louder. People were moving much faster. The gentle church bells were replaced by a harsh, heavy wall of noise. He was stepping out of a quiet dream and right into a waking nightmare. In the late summer of 1902, he arrived in Paris. The giant city was a terrible shock to his senses. Hard wooden wheels crashed against the rough stone streets. Horses clopped loudly on the roads. Thick crowds of people pushed past him on the narrow sidewalks. There was no room to breathe. The buildings felt like tall grey walls closing in on him from every side. The city air felt heavy and very dirty. The sharp smell of iodine drifted out from open hospital windows. Thick dust and dark smoke hung in the sky. Everything moved with a scary, dizzy speed. The quiet monk was now trapped in a roaring metal machine. The noise was everywhere. It filled his ears and shook his chest. The peaceful silence was completely gone. Rilke felt a deep, dark fear growing heavy inside his chest. The loud city made him feel sick and very weak. He was totally alone in a giant sea of rushing strangers. The fast crowds made his head spin in circles. He felt like a tiny, fragile boat lost in a huge, angry storm with no safe place to land. He was terrified of losing his true self in the noise. He worried the loud city would break his quiet heart forever. His gentle thoughts felt very fragile, like thin glass. The heavy metal sounds of Paris threatened to crush them into tiny pieces. He desperately needed a way to protect his peaceful mind from the roaring, scary world. To survive this awful panic, he learned a brand new trick. He decided to look very closely at just one single thing. He knew he had to stop fighting the loud noise around him. Instead, he would pick a quiet object to watch with all his might. This deep focus became his magic shield against the scary, rushing city. He would find an old stone statue in a green park, or he would watch a beautiful dark panther resting in the city zoo. He would stare at that one thing for a very long, quiet time. This deep looking became a heavy anchor for his fast, worried thoughts. It gently held his racing mind steady and completely still. This wonderful lesson came from a famous artist named Auguste Rodin. Rilke got a job writing letters for this great older sculptor. Rodin made beautiful shapes out of heavy rock and wet dirt. His busy workroom was always filled with thick clay and grey dust. It was a messy place, but it was full of deep, quiet magic. The older artist saw the young poet struggling with his deep fear. Rodin gave Rilke a very simple, strong rule to follow. He told Rilke to go to the zoo right away. He said to pick just one animal and look at it closely. He told him to keep looking until he truly saw the secret life inside it. This tough but kind advice changed everything for the young poet. It completely cured his deep fear of the loud, busy city. He stopped worrying about the noisy crowds pressing against him. He pushed all his attention outward onto a single, real thing. This simple act of looking worked like a sweet, soothing medicine for his tired soul. The scary world slowly faded away when he focused so hard. His racing heart finally began to slow down and beat softly. The loud city noises turned into a gentle, distant hum. Deep looking gave his tired mind a very safe place to rest. He found a quiet, peaceful island right in the middle of all the noise. This hard time in Paris taught him a very great lesson. He learned exactly how to turn deep fear into calm focus. He found a real way to survive his own worried mind. Now he had a special healing gift to share with others. He was finally ready to answer a very important letter from a sad young man. Far away, a young man named Franz Xaver Capus was waiting. Capus had sent a letter begging for some kind help. He was trapped in a hard life he did not want at all. Rilke remembered that trapped, lonely feeling very well. So, the older poet sat down at his quiet desk to write a gentle, caring reply. Capus lived in a very cold and strict military school. The large building was made of hard, grey stone that never felt warm. There were no soft colours or cosy fires anywhere. The tall walls felt completely unfeeling and very blank. It was a lonely, sad place for a young boy who only wanted to write beautiful poetry. Every single day at the school was exactly the same. The daily rules were harsh and very tight around the boys. Loud metal bells rang all the time to order them around. There was absolutely no time for quiet thoughts or gentle dreams. It was the exact same harsh world Rilke had run away from a long time ago. Rilke thought deeply about the cold stone walls around the young boy. He dipped his pen in dark ink and began to write slowly. He wrote down his most famous advice in those special letters. He told the young poet to stop hunting for quick, easy answers. He said the real answers were simply not ready to be found yet. Instead, he gently told the boy to love the questions themselves. He said to treat the hard questions like locked rooms in a big house, or to think of them like old books written in a strange language. He wrote that we must not force the heavy doors open. We just have to live inside the unknown for a while. These simple words brought a huge, warm wave of relief. Imagine a heavy stone falling right off your tired chest. It is a wonderful, light feeling to know you can just stop trying so hard. You do not have to figure out your whole life by tomorrow morning. You can just let it be, and that is perfectly fine. The heavy pressure to be perfect just melts away into nothing. The deep worry about the future finally loses its sharp teeth. It is completely okay to feel a little confused right now. It is okay to be slightly lost in the dark. This gentle thought wraps around a tired mind like a warm, soft and cozy blanket. This is the lovely secret of living the questions every day. It means sitting quietly, even when you do not know what to do. You do not have to rush around or feel panic in your heart. You just let the mystery stay a mystery for a little longer. You make total peace with the blank spaces in your life. You simply trust that time will safely show you the way. The very next step will appear when it is truly ready for you. You just have to live your days with a calm and open heart. Slowly, without even noticing, you will walk right into the bright answer. The waiting itself becomes a beautiful, peaceful and resting thing. When you live the questions every day, a huge weight lifts off your chest. The scary picture of the future simply fades away. You stop worrying about making one giant mistake. The heavy pressure to have a perfect plan breaks apart. You do not have to map out the next 10 years today. You just have to be here right now. This simple shift changes how every day feels. The fear of choosing the wrong path loses its sharp edge. You stop fighting against the dark and the unknown. Instead, the tired mind finds a soft place to rest. You realize that long-term choices are just a series of small, quiet days, and you only have to live one small day at a time. This gentle idea leads to a very calming thought. In the spring of 1904, Rainer Maria Rilke wrote from Rome. He shared a beautiful secret about how our lives change. He said that big changes do not attack us from the outside. They do not suddenly crash into our world without warning. Instead, the future steps inside us very softly. It slips into our blood long before it actually happens. The new life we are going to live is already inside us. It is resting there, waiting for the perfect time to wake up. We might not even notice it at first, but our body knows that something deep is shifting. The future is just planting seeds in the quiet dark. Picture a very peaceful winter evening. Outside a thick glass window, soft white snow is falling. The heavy snow covers the empty streets and the bare trees. It acts like a warm blanket over the sleeping town. Every loud noise from the busy world gets muffled and hushed. The world outside becomes perfectly still and calm. Inside the warm room, the silence feels very deep and safe. There is nothing to do but watch the gentle flakes drop. This quiet room is exactly like the quiet space inside your mind. You need this deep stillness to feel the future shifting inside you. When the outside noise stops, you can finally hear your own steady heart. You can feel the quiet magic working. The poet had a gentle way of looking at deep sadness. He believed that feeling sad is not a bad thing at all. It is not a sign that you are broken or lost. When deep sorrow comes, it means something brand new has entered you. This new thing is strange and unknown, so it feels heavy. It stands in the middle of your heart and makes everything quiet. This heavy feeling actually changes your inner chemistry. The sadness is just your body getting used to the new thing. Your mind is making extra room for the future to grow safely. It is like a house moving its walls to build a bigger room. The old feelings are being cleared out to make space. It is a slow change happening deep inside your bones. So how do you handle this heavy, quiet sadness? The poet gives a clear and gentle instruction to his young friend. First, you must not fight it. You must not run away or try to distract yourself with busy tasks. You simply stand perfectly still and let the feeling wash all over you. You let the sadness be exactly what it is without any fear. You sit quietly in the room while the feeling works inside you. You breathe softly and let the internal changes happen on their own. You do not try to push the heavy mood out the door. You treat the sadness like a quiet, shy guest in your home. You give it a warm seat and just wait together. This is how you let your inner self heal. There is a deep, warm comfort in this complete acceptance. When you stop fighting the sadness, a great peace washes over you. You realize that feeling stuck is not a failure at all. You are not falling behind in your long life. The quiet, sad days are actually very busy days for your hidden soul. They are safe spaces where your future self is growing strong. This beautiful thought wraps around you like a soft hug. It tells you that every dark mood is just a resting phase. The tears and the tiredness are just signs of deep, unseen work. You can finally forgive yourself for needing to rest. You can find true peace in the middle of feeling lost. You are simply incubating the beautiful days that are yet to come. This slow, quiet growth does not just happen inside people. It happens in the wide world outside our windows too. The poet looked closely at the earth to understand this simple truth. He saw that nature uses the exact same slow, patient magic. The dirt, the trees, and the rivers all work with deep patience. They never rush their own quiet incubation in the sun. To see this clearly, we must look at a very special place. We must travel to a tiny village where the poet spent his early days. In this remote spot, the land itself was the greatest teacher. The open fields showed him how to wait without any worry. The natural world became a living map of unhurried growth. It proved that everything good takes a long time to bloom. In the late 1890s, the poet went to a small artists' colony in northern Germany. The place was called Worpswede. It was a very quiet village surrounded by flat, endless moors. There were no tall buildings or loud, busy streets. There were only dark peat bogs and tiny, quiet farmhouses. The flat land stretched out as far as the human eye could see. Above the flat ground, the sky was massive and heavy. Huge grey clouds rolled slowly across the wide open blue. The wind swept gently through the tall, dry grass. The whole landscape moved at a very slow, deliberate pace. Nothing here was in a rush or a hurry. The deep, quiet earth seemed to be sleeping and dreaming at the exact same time. In this quiet place, Rainer Maria Rilke watched his friends work. These friends were landscape painters, and they moved very slowly. They set up their wooden easels in the damp, dark fields. They did not rush to put bright paint on the flat canvas. Instead, they stood in the cool air and just looked at the land. They waited for long hours for the sun to slowly move. They watched the slow crawl of shadows across the dark peat bogs. They studied how the soft light changed the colour of the wet mud. They did not force the painting to happen fast. They let the true feeling of the moor sink deeply into their eyes. They worked with the same deep patience as the slow-moving clouds above them. They simply sat still and let the slow beauty reveal itself. Rilke learned a deep lesson from watching this slow world. He saw that nature never hurries to finish its work. The grass does not rush to grow taller. The clouds do not race to cross the sky. Yet every single thing in nature gets perfectly done. The earth just takes the time it needs. This slow pace is the true secret of the natural world. He realized that the human soul works the exact same way. We are just like the fields and the trees. We have our own natural seasons of quiet, cold, and warm light. Our hearts cannot be forced to bloom before they are ready. You cannot pull on a flower to make it open faster. If you try to force your soul to grow, it will only hurt. In the letters he wrote in 1903, he explained this beautiful idea. He called it the philosophy of ripening like a tree. A tree knows how to wait for the right time. It does not push its sweet sap early in the cold spring. It holds its energy deep inside its strong roots. It knows that rushing will only freeze its new buds. Instead, the tree stands tall and confident in the harsh winter storms. The cold wind blows hard, but the tree does not worry. It does not feel anxious about the dark days. It trusts completely that the warm summer will eventually come. It simply stands still and lets the seasons do their slow work. We can learn to stand just like that quiet tree. This simple idea brings a huge wave of relief to a tired mind. Today, the busy world always tells us to hurry up. We are pushed to constantly fix ourselves and grow faster. We feel a heavy pressure to hustle every single day. This constant rushing makes our hearts feel tight and exhausted. We forget how to just sit and breathe. Rilke offers a soothing truth to wash away that heavy pressure. He tells us that forced fake growth is actually harmful. It hurts our deep inner peace. Knowing we can simply wait to ripen feels like a warm blanket. We can let go of the need to be perfect right now. We can just rest in our own winter and trust the coming summer. Rilke took this rule of deep patience and moved it to another part of life. He looked closely at the hard, messy world of human love. He saw how his friends, like the young poet Capus, struggled with romance. People often try to rush love to cure their own sadness. They look for another person to fix their lonely feelings fast. But Rilke knew that rushing love never works. He wanted to use his quiet rules of nature for loving someone else. He believed that romance needed the same slow waiting as a growing tree. You cannot force two hearts to connect in a sudden rush. Love requires immense patience and very clear, safe borders. He started to build a totally new way to think about being together. It was a gentle path based on giving space. In his famous letters, he wrote down this very different rule for love. He clearly rejected the old idea of two people melting into one single person. If two people merge completely, they lose their own special shapes. They lose the quiet spaces inside their own minds. Instead, he defined love in a very strange and beautiful way. He called love two solitudes. These two solitudes do not crush each other. They stand side by side like two strong trees in a forest. They protect each other from the harsh winds of the world. They carefully border each other without crossing the line. They gently greet each other across the quiet space between them. They stay separate, but they are deeply joined by their shared roots. This gentle rule changes how we see romance right away. It instantly takes away the heavy, crushing pressure of modern love. You no longer have to be everything for another person. You do not have to carry the huge weight of making them whole. That impossible burden is finally lifted off your tired shoulders. You are free to just be yourself. The other person does not have to fix your deep sadness either. They are not a tool to cure your lonely nights. By dropping this unfair job, both people are set completely free. You do not have to pretend to be perfect. You can both relax into your own natural shapes. Love becomes a safe resting place instead of a hard job. This new kind of love works by building very strong, respectful borders. You fiercely guard the other person's right to be totally alone. You protect their need to have a private, quiet life inside their own head. You do not demand to know every single thought they have. You let them keep their own secrets and their own dreams. You give them the gift of true space. By giving them this wide, safe space, something wonderful happens. A much deeper, stronger trust begins to grow between you. When someone is allowed to be free, they want to stay close. This mutual respect builds a bond that cannot be easily broken. You do not hold on tight, yet you never drift apart. This is how true, lasting closeness is actually made. Think of how deeply peaceful this kind of love feels. Imagine sitting in a warm, quiet room in Paris with someone you love very much. The rain is softly hitting the glass window outside. There is no pressure to talk or to be funny. You do not have to entertain them or fill the empty air with words. The silence between you is not scary at all. You are both just reading your own books in total silence. You feel completely safe and totally connected in the quiet room. Your hearts are greeting each other without making a single sound. It is the deep comfort of being allowed to be alone together. All the worry of the day just melts away in this shared peace. It is a perfect, restful calm. Many years later, Rilke needed to test this need for deep space even more. He had to leave the busy cities and the polite rooms behind completely. In the year 1921, he packed his bags for a very long journey. He travelled far away to the high, cold mountains of the Swiss Alps. He was looking for a place where no one could find him. He needed to take his rule of quiet living to the absolute edge. He wanted to push his own philosophy to its physical limit. He walked away from all human comfort and warm company. He went to find the deepest, heaviest silence on the earth. He believed that this giant, empty space would finally let him finish his greatest poems. He stepped into a remote, wild world made only of rock and wind. He was ready to face the ultimate test of being truly alone. He found an old stone tower hidden in the quiet European landscapes of Switzerland. It was called the Château de Museau. This tall building was built way back in the 13th century. It stood all alone in a wide, empty valley. Thick stone walls kept the busy world far away. Cold winds from the high Alps blew hard against the tower all day. Inside, the old wood floors would creak loudly in the dark. But beneath that small noise, there was a huge, deep silence. The quiet in that valley was so strong it almost felt heavy. It wrapped around the cold stone walls like a thick blanket. In the year 1921, Rilke moved into this quiet place. He lived there almost entirely by himself for a long time. Every morning, he woke up to the freezing cold air. He chopped his own wood to keep the small fires burning bright. He made his own simple meals and washed his own plates. He was waiting for his greatest poems to finally come out. But for many long, hard months, no words came to him at all. His mind felt totally empty and dry. Still, he refused to pack up his bags and leave the old tower. He promised himself he would stay right there until his life's work was finished. This extreme choice tested everything he had ever believed about life. It tested all the kind letters he had mailed to the young poet years before. His deep solitude was no longer just a soft, gentle rest. The quiet became a heavy, demanding rule. It pressed down on his shoulders every single day. He could not hide from his own sad thoughts in the busy city streets. Without anyone else around to talk to, he had to look deep inside himself. He had to face the empty spaces in his own heart. It was the hardest thing he had ever tried to do. He was living the tough questions he always wrote about. The extreme silence of Museau worked like a giant pot on a hot stove. It held all his thoughts tightly in one single place. There were no busy streets or loud trains to pull his mind away. There were no friends dropping by to take his energy. All his mental power was trapped inside the thick stone walls. Because his mind could not run away, it had to turn inward. The deep quiet forced his brain to gather all its hidden strength. Day after day, the heavy silence slowly cooked his thoughts. It was getting him ready for one massive burst of art. The quiet was building a huge fire deep in his chest. At first, this deep silence was very scary and hard to hold. Rainer Maria Rilke felt a real fear when he looked into his own empty mind. He wanted to fight the quiet and run back to the safe, busy world. But then he finally stopped fighting the heavy feeling. He let his arms drop and just gave up the struggle. He completely gave in to the giant, empty feeling in the room, and the very moment he stopped fighting, everything shifted and changed. A deep, steady peace washed over his tired body. He felt a strong calm that no storm could ever shake. He was finally ready to hear the quiet voice of his own soul. Then, in February of 1922, the long wait broke open like a dam. A wild flood of new words suddenly rushed into his mind. He could not write them down fast enough to keep up. He paced back and forth across the cold stone floors all night. He was caught in a bright fever of pure thought. After years of total silence, his greatest poems poured out onto the paper. In just a few short days, he finished the Duino elegies that he had started long ago. He also wrote a whole new book called Sonnets to Orpheus in a sudden flash. It felt just like the sweet, quiet magic of his old Book of Hours. That amazing burst of art happened over 100 years ago. It took place in a lonely stone tower far away from everything we know. But you might wonder what this old philosophical story means for you right now. How does a quiet poet from the past help us today? Our lives look nothing like that silent valley in the Alps. We do not live in old stone towers hidden in the mountains. We live in a fast, loud, and very messy modern world. We are always rushing from one busy task to the next without stopping. But this is exactly why his old lessons matter so much right now. His deep patience is the exact medicine our tired minds need today. Think about where you are right now in the dark of your room. Picture a normal bedroom tonight, filled with the harsh blue glow of a smartphone. The bright screen hurts your tired eyes and keeps your brain awake. Outside the window, you can hear the low, steady hum of passing cars. The noise of the city never really stops. You can feel the sharp stress hiding in your own body right now. Your jaw is locked tight from reading bad news all day long. Your shoulders are pulled up high near your ears in a tight knot. You are lying in bed, but you do not feel truly rested at all. The quiet of the room just feels tense and heavy. There is a deep, heavy tiredness hiding deep down in your bones. It comes from living in a world that always wants you to speak fast. You feel like you are always on call for everyone else in your life. If your phone buzzes, you feel a sharp push to answer right away. It is totally exhausting to always be ready. Even worse is the bad feeling that comes when you try to rest. If you just sit still and do nothing, a sharp guilt creeps in. You feel like you are wasting time if you are not rushing around. The modern world makes us feel bad for just breathing in the dark. We have forgotten how to simply be alone and quiet. This is why those old letters from the poet matter so much right now. They offer a clear cure for our modern rushing sickness. Rainer Maria Rilke built his whole world on one simple idea. He believed that moving too fast ruins the truth of things. Our world today says a quick reply is best, but the poet knew that real answers take time to grow. He saw speed as a thief that steals our peace. His words teach us to stop running a race that has no end. When everything screams to hurry up, his letters whisper to slow down. They tell us that waiting is how we find our true selves. His gentle rules give us permission to pause. You can practice this gentle delay in your own life today. It starts with a very small and quiet choice. When a new message lights up your screen, you do not have to open it. You can let that email sit unread. You can leave a text message alone for a little while. You choose to wait before you react. This choice builds a soft wall of time around your mind. It gives you a safe space between the world and your feelings. You just take a breath and let the message wait. You do not have to fix everything the second it happens. This small delay is a gift to yourself. When you stop trying to fix things instantly, your body feels it. A heavy weight lifts right off your tired chest. The stress chemicals in your blood begin to wash away. Your heart stops beating like a fast drum. You do not need all the answers right now. That simple fact tells your brain it is safe to rest. Your breathing gets much slower and deeper. The tight muscles in your neck finally let go. Your whole nervous system stops fighting a hidden war. It unclenches like a tight fist opening into a flower. The rush of panic fades into a quiet hum. You feel safe just being here in this slow moment. As your body slows down, you can look at the night in a new way. The end of the day is not a deadline you missed. The setting sun is a gentle invitation to stop working. The poet loved the time when the light fades away. He saw the shift to night as a beautiful promise. We often think of the dark as something to fight with bright lamps. We try to push the shadows away with glowing screens. But Rilke asked us to welcome the shadows instead. He wanted us to see the night as a kind friend. The dark is a quiet room waiting to hold you. In his famous Book of Hours, the poet wrote beautifully about this deep shadow. He painted a picture of a rich and velvety darkness. It is a soft blackness that wraps around you like a warm blanket. This dark is not a scary or hollow place. It is thick and peaceful, like the quiet earth deep underground. Think of this darkness as rich and fertile soil. It is the quiet dirt where tiny seeds are planted safely. Down in the dark earth, the seeds do not rush to grow. They just rest in the cool dirt and wait. The dark gives them a safe place to sleep before they bloom. For a long time, people were taught to fear the dark. Old stories told us that light was good and dark was bad. They said the shadows were full of scary things. But Rilke turned this old fear completely upside down. He said the bright light was actually too harsh and loud. He saw the dark as a great and loving mother. The night is a mother who wraps her arms around the tired world. This mother does not ask you to do any chores. She does not need you to be smart or fast or perfect. She gives you a quiet place to hide and rest. There is a huge feeling of safety hidden in this dark room. When the lights go out, nobody can see you anymore. You do not have to smile if you are sad. You do not have to look busy or important. The world cannot watch you, so you can stop putting on a show. It is a massive relief to be totally unobserved. You are just a breathing person lying in a quiet space. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. The heavy pressure of being seen simply melts away. You are safe in the soft hands of the night. You can practice this safety as you lie in your bed. Close your eyes and let your mind wander into the dark. Do not try to solve any problems from the day. Do not make any plans for tomorrow. Just let your thoughts drift by like soft clouds. If a worry pops up, watch it float away. You do not have to grab on to any of these thoughts. You do not have to fix them or figure them out. You are just resting in the grass, watching the sky. Your only job is to do absolutely nothing at all. You give yourself over to the peaceful night. When you give up the need to do things, something wonderful happens inside you. Your busy mind finally stops spinning its wheels. The deep parts of your brain realize the work is truly done. This total lack of purpose heals your tired body. Your body begins to fix itself in the quiet dark. This soft surrender prepares you for a very deep sleep. You are no longer fighting the natural rhythm of the earth. You have let go of the heavy day and all its loud demands. Your breathing falls into a slow and steady wave. True sleep finally comes to carry you away. We have walked a very long way with Rainer Maria Rilke. Through all his travels across wide European landscapes, a single beautiful truth slowly took shape. He looked at the busy, loud world and found a quiet way to live in it. This gentle idea became his greatest gift to us. It changed how we see our own minds. Every word he wrote in his Book of Hours points to this one quiet idea. Every piece of advice in his letters to a young poet leads right back to this very same spot. All his deep philosophical thoughts boil down to a simple, comforting truth. It is a truth that can help you rest deeply tonight. His great secret is that your life is not a math problem. You do not have to find the exact right answer to make everything perfect. Life is not a tricky puzzle that you have to solve before you can be happy. It is a wide, open field that you are meant to walk through and simply feel. Life is meant to be felt, just like the cool wind on your face. When you try too hard to fix every little thing, you forget how to actually live. You miss the soft beauty of the present moment because you are worried about tomorrow. The constant need to fix things is the very thing keeping you awake. Just hearing this truth can make a heavy weight fall right off your shoulders. You might even feel a soft tear form in your eye, born of pure, sweet relief. You do not have to be perfect anymore. You are totally free from the impossible job of having everything figured out before you go to sleep. You are allowed to be a little bit broken. You do not need a grand master plan for your life right now. Being a work in progress is a perfectly fine and beautiful thing to be. You can just rest here in the dark, knowing you are completely okay just the way you are today. Sometimes a sudden wave of worry might wake you in the middle of the night. Your heart might beat fast with a sudden flash of midnight panic. When this happens, do not build a tall wall to keep the feeling out. Do not fight the worry or angrily tell it to go away. Instead, you can gently open the door of your mind and invite the worry inside. Treat the sudden sadness like a tired guest who has been walking a long time. Offer this feeling a quiet seat in the corner of your mind. Let it sit there in your deep solitude without judging it at all. A strange and wonderful thing happens when you welcome the fear this way. Because you are no longer fighting it, the worry suddenly loses all its sharp teeth. It stops being a scary monster hiding in the dark. It just becomes a small, tired feeling that needs a safe place to rest for a tiny moment. The wave of panic rises, but then it quickly rolls away. It fades back into the dark much faster because you simply let it exist. When you stop pushing against the heavy feelings, they instantly stop pushing back. They melt away like snow, leaving you in a deep pool of quiet calm. Notice the feeling of your own body right now in this quiet space. Feel the heavy, warm blankets resting softly against your tired legs and arms. The bed supports your whole weight, holding you safe and secure above the floor. The room around you is completely still, wrapping you in a soft blanket of peace. Feel the cool, fresh air moving slowly in and out of your nose. Pay attention to the slow, steady rise and fall of your chest. With every breath you take, the absolute stillness grows a little bit deeper. Your room is a safe harbour, far away from the loud and stormy seas of the day. The active hours of the day are now far behind you. We are stepping gently over the line between waking thought and deep, restful sleep. The busy world has finally stopped spinning for tonight. There is nothing left for you to do and nowhere else you ever need to be. You can just let the quiet current carry you down into the peaceful dark. The thinking mind is shutting its heavy doors one by one. The bright lights of the day are fading into a soft, starry glow. You are drifting closer and closer to the very edge of deep sleep. Think of the noisy, rainy streets of Paris we left far behind. Remember the endless, silent Russian plains and that lonely stone tower high in the Swiss mountains. All those distant places taught us how to find true peace. They showed us how to build a strong, quiet room deep inside the mind. That exact same quiet sanctuary now lives right inside your own heart. It is a safe place that no loud noise or sudden worry can ever reach. You carry this strong, peaceful fortress with you everywhere you go. It is always there, waiting to keep you safe when the outside world gets too loud. A warm, quiet joy begins to glow slowly in the center of your chest. You realize you do not need to travel across the world to find perfect peace. You do not need to hide in a lonely tower to feel completely safe. Everything you have ever needed is already right inside of you. You are already enough exactly as you are in this very moment. The vast, calm landscape you need is always waiting for you. You just have to close your eyes and step inside. Let the quiet darkness hold you now as you drift away into a long, beautiful, and peaceful sleep. The words of Rainer Maria Rilke did not fade away. They were printed on heavy paper and bound into small books. Today you can find these pages resting on wooden shelves all over the world. People carefully pull them down when the noise of the day becomes too loud. The simple act of opening the cover begins a quiet ritual. Therapists and teachers now hand these tiny books to tired people. They use the texts as a real tool to help calm racing minds. A person sits in a soft chair and reads just one page. They trace the old words with their finger. This slow movement helps ground them in the present moment. The result of reading these poems is a deep, lasting calm. The mind stops trying to fix every problem at once. Instead of fighting the rush of time, the reader learns to wait. This slow patience acts like a shield against the heavy rush of modern life. The quiet spaces between the words become a safe place to rest. This philosophical shift changes how a person faces a hard day. When a new worry pops up, it does not feel so big anymore. The reader remembers that even the deepest night will eventually turn into morning. They learn to trust the slow turning of the earth. This trust brings a steady, warm peace to their daily life. We can see this peace in the life of the young poet who first received the letters. Franz Xaver Capus kept those papers safe for many years. He read them over and over as he grew older. The advice shaped how he made choices and how he lived. He finally shared them with the world in the year 1929. By sharing those private notes, he passed that comfort on to millions of strangers. We now walk through our own lives holding that very same quiet wisdom. The heavy burden of having to be perfect simply melts away. We move from a place of fear into a gentle space of rest. The old words bridge the gap across time. Far away, the old European landscapes still hold this deep quiet. The wind blows softly through the tall trees in the deep valleys. Cold streams flow gently over smooth grey stones. The old stone towers stand silently under a blanket of bright stars. These calm places look exactly as they did over 100 years ago. That same ancient quiet now fills your own bedroom. A single lamp casts a warm, golden glow across your nightstand. A small copy of the Book of Hours rests right there, waiting for you. The soft hum of the house settles into a steady, peaceful rhythm. The air in the room feels cool, fresh, and perfectly still. There is a beautiful mystery hidden inside this quiet feeling. We still do not fully know why simple words can heal a tired heart. Science can track a slower heartbeat, but it cannot measure hope. The exact way a poem washes away fear remains a wonderful secret. It is a puzzle that we do not ever need to solve. Not knowing the answer actually brings a deep sense of relief. You do not have to figure everything out before you fall asleep. You can just let the gentle mystery wrap around you like a warm blanket. The heavy need to understand everything slowly floats away. You are left with nothing but a pure, simple feeling of safety. The poems work by setting up a very slow, steady rhythm. The structure of the verses acts just like a deep breathing exercise. Each short line gives your brain a tiny task to focus on. This gentle focus stops your mind from spinning out of control. It builds a quiet fence around your thoughts, keeping the loud worries out. This reading system tells your nervous system that you are safe. When your eyes move slowly across the page, your body gets the message. Your heart rate naturally begins to slow down to match the words. The tight muscles in your neck and shoulders finally let go. The physical stress leaves your body drop by drop until you feel light. When sleep feels far away, you can practice this simple step. You just reach out and open a book to any random page. You read one single sentence and then you close your eyes. You let that one thought sit quietly in your mind. You do not try to force sleep to come. You just rest with the words. You take a long, slow breath in through your nose. You hold the quiet air in your chest for just a second. Then you let it all out with a soft, gentle sigh. You repeat this easy motion while thinking of the poem. The simple act of breathing becomes a bridge to a deep and restful sleep. Practicing this gentle solitude changes how you wake up the next day. You feel much lighter, as if a heavy stone was lifted off your back. The morning light feels softer and much more welcoming. The small problems of the day do not upset you as easily. You carry a tiny piece of that nighttime peace into the bright morning. This quiet strength becomes a permanent part of who you are. You no longer fear the quiet moments when you are all alone. Instead, you welcome the silence as a trusted, gentle friend. You know that you have a safe place to retreat to whenever you need it. The calm center of your mind is always open and waiting. There is one last question that gently fades into the quiet. We never really know where our busy thoughts go when we finally sleep. They seem to just melt away into the soft edges of the night. The mind simply stops asking questions and gives in to the heavy rest. The need for answers drifts away on a quiet breeze. You are now crossing over that soft line into deep sleep. The old words have done their job and you can let them go. The quiet world wraps around you, keeping you perfectly safe and warm. You are sinking down into a soft, dreamless peace. Let the gentle night hold you now as you rest until the morning comes. The old paper of a small book rests quietly on a wooden nightstand. A soft lamp glows beside it, casting a warm light. Inside are the very letters Rainer Maria Rilke wrote so long ago. They sit in quiet rooms all over the world. People keep these words close when the day ends. Outside the window, the busy city streets slowly grow still. The loud noises of the day fade into a soft hum. Inside the room, a deeper peace takes root. The pages of the book hold a timeless space for rest. It stands as a tiny monument to the beauty of being still. Think of a weary person picking up that little book after a hard day. They feel a heavy weight lift from their tired shoulders. The deep worry they carried begins to melt away. Reading those simple words makes them feel completely safe. They just breathe and let the quiet hold them. This gentle comfort is the true gift left behind for all of us. Friends pass these quiet poems to one another in times of need. When someone feels lost, these old letters offer a soft hand to hold. Deep relief washes over them like a cool wave. The heart finally slows down. Over the years, the way people think about being alone slowly shifted. Being by yourself used to feel like a lonely thing. Now, solitude is seen as a warm and healing place. It acts as a shield against the endless noise. The mind uses this quiet time to repair itself. This new way of thinking spread far beyond those first few letters. It changed how we understand the basic need for quiet rest. We learned that pulling away from the crowd is not running away. It is a necessary step to build a healthy mind. The brain requires this blank space. Yet a beautiful mystery still remains in how these old words work. We do not fully know how ink on paper can calm a racing pulse. Doctors can measure the relaxed muscles of a resting reader. But science cannot perfectly map the exact moment a worried mind finds hope. No one can completely explain why a stranger's letter feels so personal today. We read words meant for a young poet, yet they feel written just for us. The exact way this feeling crosses 100 years is still a secret. Some questions are meant to stay wonderfully unanswered. Because of this lasting magic, the poet's work travels further every single year. The letters are printed in new languages and shipped to distant countries. Schools teach these quiet lessons to students who feel crushed by heavy pressure. The words act as a global anchor for anyone feeling tossed around. This global spread creates a massive, invisible web of calm people. Millions of readers share the exact same feeling of quiet relief before bed. They all step into the same peaceful garden built by those old poems. The poet's quiet voice became a permanent lullaby for the whole earth. Now this long journey through the quiet European landscapes comes right to your door. You are the latest person to step into this peaceful rest. The heavy demands of your own day are officially in the past. You have done enough. You can feel the tension leaving your hands and feet. Your breathing matches the slow rhythm of those ancient, calming words. The space around you feels incredibly safe, holding you in a gentle hug. You are leaving the loud, busy world far behind you now. The path forward is completely clear, leading only to deep, healing sleep. The world outside will always be loud, rushing forward with endless demands. But you now know that the quiet space inside you is much stronger. You carry a vast, peaceful sky right inside your own chest. You have finally found the ultimate, unbreakable sanctuary of your own mind. A single, quiet star shines gently through the glass of the window. The little book on the table is finally closed, its work completely done. Your eyes are heavy and a soft, deep breath fills your lungs. Sleep comes easily now, soft and quiet as a falling leaf.